What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one on this Sunday evening. If you're Canadian like I am, well, yesterday was Canada Day, so happy Canada Day to you. And I know on Tuesday, Americans got their day coming up with July 4th. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Still over 125 of you in the chat right now. Please smash that like button. Do me the favor, smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. We are only about 336 away from hitting 12,000. So let's get there. I want to get to 13,000 before the season starts. Get to that Marino number. You know, my lucky number and Marino's number. Let's get there. So shout out to all of you in the chat who have already shown up. PL, how you doing? Stetson, Barry, Pro Special, Carey, Ron, Aladino, Fake Spike, the Bornick, Robert Thompson, Jeffrey Ward, Andrew Harris, King Short, Brian Walters, Marino's Goat, Knight, Jason Keck, Pro Special, I shouted you out, right? Rob, Kurok, 1972, Robbie Ralph, Corey Moore, who else we got here? Gerald Rodriguez, Timothy Eason, Samuel Rosa, Amistith 0125, MG Taxman, Sean Davis, how are you doing? Ball God 230, Robert Carrillo, Scorpion King, Fake Spike, Finfella, Polly King 305, Tommy Tremont, Luther Small, 300 Egos, Hammer. Shout out to Ron. He's going through it right now. Everyone show him some love in the chat right now. Ron going through it right now. He needs all our positive vibe, all our positive energy. And my friend, I appreciate that I can, even if an hour or a couple hours a day, I can take your mind off, you know, the hardships of reality. Hey, my friend, I'm glad to be here and do that for you, bro. So I appreciate you for tuning in, even though you're going through it, my guy. Gary Skeleton, Robert Trainer, Orlando, Jacob Aka, Michael Fisak, Todd Labruto, how are you doing? How's everyone doing tonight? Orlando, how are y'all doing tonight, man? Man, I've been slacking. For the season, when the season starts, I'm going to be introducing a new way, and I'm going to be starting it when the season starts, a new way to thank Patreons and channel members, and we'll be debuting that when the season starts. I might even debut it when we start live streaming preseason games, but it's going to be something we start doing regularly on every episode. I used to shout them out, and now there's just so many of you. I'd be sitting here for 20 minutes. But, yeah, we got a new method we're going to be introducing come the regular season. So I might even debut it during the preseason game. So, Flaming Finn, what's going on? Jackson, how are you doing? So, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Before we get into anything, I got to, shout out to Elon Musk for ruining Twitter. It's bad enough Dolphins Twitter peaked about 2 off seasons ago. What's going on, Charles, Kevin? It's bad enough that this peaked about, 2 off seasons ago. You weren't having a lot of these, idiots running around. They were still out there, but it was nowhere near, the people that are around now. They weren't out there. Dolphins Twitter was, 2 off seasons ago was a beautiful, beautiful place. It feels like Dolphins Twitter really peaked 2 off seasons ago, and it really coincides with when I started to fall back from Dolphins Twitter, man. Last off season just got off the rails in toxicity, and it's continued on. And now Elon with this rate limits exceeded thing. Holy jeez. I mean, just continue to shoot the platform in the foot. I mean, do I got to come out here and, start the first ever Dolphins Twitter? Do I got to be that dude? Like, it's painful. It's painful right now, that's for sure. So, yeah, what an experience this weekend has been. Topher says when the Dame and Dalvin news about to hit hard this week. Yeah, the Damian Lillard, he requested a trade. Obviously, the word is he wants to come to Miami. It's going to be interesting to see if a third team needs to come in to facilitate the trade. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that all works out. As far as Dalvin Cook, yeah, it's going in the right direction. That's all I'm gonna say. Now I wanted to pitch this to y'all, a little theory I got about the training camp dates, because I was sitting there, I was looking at the training camp dates. You know what I mean? Because if you think about this, right, you know, the Dolphins, how it's all working out is curious to me. In terms of in terms of how all this plays out. So let me throw this by you here, okay? So we know the rookies got to report by July 18th, and the veterans got to report by July 25th. That's a given. We know that. So then you look at when, the training camp that's going to be open to the public, right? July 30th, July 31st, August 1st, and then, they're off on the 2nd. Then the 3rd, 4th, 5th, off on the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, okay? So, that's quite a few dates, right? That's 8 dates basically in like an 11-day span, right? You know what I mean? So my whole thing here is, and then they're off. Fans do not have access for 14 days. Fans are not allowed back until August 23rd and 24th. And even still, when fans aren't allowed for the 6th and 7th, the only reason they're allowed at the 8th and the 9th is because it's a joint practice with the Falcons. So you look at this, they're off basically. There's a 14-day window where they're off, and then Dolphin fans only get to go for 2 more days. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, I see the game. I was sitting there and I was talking about it, and it's so obvious that, first 5 days in, it's all vanilla stuff. It's all the basic vanilla stuff because the rookies got to get acclimated. You want to get everyone's legs under them, their feet wet. And I actually said to someone yesterday, I was on the phone with Dudley Durong, and I said to him, bro, are they doing this because of like all the people that were like feeding us, these training camp videos? So they switched it up now. The 23rd and 24th, everything's going to be polished by then. From the 9th to the 23rd, that's when they're going to be getting into the meat, into the crux of the defense and the offense. But we won't be, Dolphin fans won't be allowed, and they'll start really actually getting into it on the 6th and the 7th before they go and have the joint practices. Which again, the Dolphin fans will not be at the 6th and 7th joint practice. They will not be at those training camp dates. So. Hard Knocks is apparently going to the Jets. So, it's very interesting to me that, you look at how last year was set up compared to how this year is set up. And it seems like, that 2-week period, there's a reason why. Those are the practices you want to be at. You know what I mean? Like July, 30th, 31st, August 1st, they're just getting their feet wet, man. 3rd, 4th, and 5th, because here's the thing, right? Like, if the veterans report on the 25th, you're saying they're putting pads on in 5 days? Correct me if I'm wrong. Last year, I didn't go back and look, but I'm pretty sure there were more than 5 days between the veterans reporting and when pads came on last year. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm almost positive of that. That there was much more than 5 days before those pads came on last year. And now it's like they're rushing to get the pads on just to get all the vanilla stuff, get everyone acclimated, do the song and dance for the fans, get those open ones out of the way. So come that 2-week period, they can really start to get into things and really start to open up stuff. Kind of crazy, man. When you actually look at it, you're like, why do they want a 2-week period in the middle of that? And those are going to be the practices where probably a lot of installs. It's going to be very interesting, man. But just a theory, when I was sitting back looking at the dates, that struck me as odd, how quickly we were jumping into the pads for the fans to show up. And then that 2-week window, and then there's only 2 dates, August 23rd and 24th, and then they're done with the fans. So it's like, the fans get the majority of the stuff in from July 30th to August 9th, and aside from 6th and the 7th, which aren't open to fans, and then the 8th and 9th joint practices with Atlanta, July 30th, 31st, August 1st, August 3rd, August 4th, August 5th, that's going to be like basics of the basics, And I really wonder if it's the amount of people that were hitting up people like me and Doug with training camp footage last year, and they don't want to put that out there this year. I don't know. Very interesting stuff, though, how, that gap exists this year. So we'll see how it all works out. But, man, I can't wait for camp either way. Either way, it's going to be fun, especially, the joint practices are going to be a ball. I mean, we got robbed last year of getting that second joint practice with the Eagles. You know what I mean? So, and we wiped the floor with them on day one. So, going to be interesting to see how it all goes out, man. Now, I saw Knight. Shout out to Knight in the chat. And, he said something to the effect, like I learned this week that even people who apologize to Tua, they still get shredded. They apologize for their takes about Tua or whatever. They still get shredded or whatever the case may be. Listen, here's the thing. And I know you're talking about the Chris Canty clip that's going out. Here's the thing. Like, I'm not going to even put Chris Canty under this blanket, because I did see the clip you're talking about referring to. It's the people that made it personal with people in this fan base and made it personal with the player, all because they have an agenda and a narrative. They want other people to be wrong. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I take responsibility for why some of these people in this community spit so much venom towards Tua and hate Tua, because there's people out here that literally, they prey on my downfall. They pray I'm wrong. I've been right so much that, this one Tua thing, the franchise quarterback, is the last thing they have grasping to, and they're hoping that ends up being wrong without realizing all the other things I've been so right about. Look at the team: Javon Holland, Jalen, and we're talking about the good: Javon Holland, Jalen Phillips, Jalen Waddle, just to name a few, right? The bad: I told everyone Austin Jackson, Liam Eichenberg would be what they are. Here we are. I've been right in so many different aspects. And there's people going back to when I didn't even have this channel, back when I was doing my thing in 2019, when I just got involved in this. There's people that want people like me and EM Dolphin fan to be so wrong, and they're so dug in. Those are the people that, there's no backpedaling. We're past the sense of backpedaling. Now, what you're talking about with Chris Canty, I agree with you. You know what I mean? He said some dumb things, and he changed his. But there are people who have legitimately made it personal with people, not just me, but with myself and other people in this community. And there's people that have made it legitimately personal with this player. And it's just gotten to these levels of, I mock them all the time because they try to mock Tua fans and say, oh, you put the player over the logo. Well, they put their hate for this player over the logo, to the point where some of these people, there's people that spew venom at Jalen Waddle. And I know they spew venom at Jalen Waddle because reason was right again. I know there's players on this team that take backlash because I was all over those prospects. I get it. Devin A-Chain will be the next one, I guarantee you. If Devin A-Chain isn't rushing for 1,200 yards in the first year, everyone's going to automatically, try and label that something. That's just how the game works, But not only do I have the, knowledge, and do not only have the testicular fortitude, but by putting myself out there with those type of projections and with the way I talk about the draft and stuff, not many people will do that, let alone not many people will, have the batting average I have. But these people they will spew nonsense at Tua. They will spew nonsense at Jalen Waddle just to spite me, just to spite other people in this community who support those players. And those are the people where I think we're past the point of, listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. At the end of the day, we're all on the internet, whether you're on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. We all don't live in the same city. So if someone says something that doesn't sit well with you, you can't get in your car or whatever your means of transportation is, your bike, your pair of Jordans on your feet, or the local bus, whatever. You can't get on said mode of transportation, go check them to the door. Either have a conversation about it or deal with it like men, whatever the case may be, okay? So once these people cross lines, once these people break levels of trust, there's no going back. There is no going back. We only have these platforms and, these mediums to connect. Once people show their true colors and you're not even at the level of being that personal with them in terms of you can go sit on the couch and drink beers and such. When they start crossing lines or breaking levels of trust, yeah, you get to a point of unforgiving, and people have crossed a lot of lines over this Tua stuff. A lot of lines. It is what it is. And I'm going to be the first one to tell you. I'll be the first one that's vocal. If we're winning this year, we're in the AFC Championship, I'll be the first one to say, yo, y'all weren't on this bandwagon. Y'all weren't on this wagon the last 3 years. Don't start hopping on now. I'll be the first one. I will be the first one. For those people that crossed lines and made it personal with people, yeah, I will remind. These people need to be reminded, bro. I've said it I see people are using my word in spaces now. I love it. I love it. I appreciate it, but I love it. My slang, jabroni, brisket, all this stuff always makes it everywhere, okay? I see people using the word I always use up here, kumbaya, in spaces now. And because I'm the one who's always said, I'm not here to play kumbaya, man. I'm not here to play kumbaya, especially with people there's people in my chat who were blasted. There's people on Twitter who were unfairly blasted. It's all across the board. Those are the people that believed. And I've always said, I don't have time for the Tua haters and the Tua lovers. Who I talk to are the Tua believers and the Tua non-believers. Because there are people who will say, you know what, I just don't believe in the kid. I don't believe he'll stay healthy, blah, 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 blah. You can have good debates or good conversations, but there's other people who will make it personal with you if you like Tua, or they'll make it personal with Tua. It's the same thing on the flip side. The Tua lovers who will make it personal with the Tua non-believers. I don't have time for them either. You know what I mean? If people are sound and reasonable, I got no problem. We can have a debate. There is no debate right now. The only debate is availability. And like I've said, you can't argue anyone when they make that argument. If someone says to me, I don't believe in Tua because I don't believe he'll stay healthy, what am I going to say to the person? The only thing I can say to the person is, listen, I think he's going to stay healthy this year because of all the work he's put in and because of the bag that's on the line. Usually when that kind of stuff happens in any sport, it comes together. But other than that, I'm not going to sit here and try and, call the person names and get into an argument with them over it because they have a valid point, right? We're in a projection phase right now with if he's going to be healthy this year. So you either project him to not stay healthy or you project him to stay healthy. Right? The people who project him not to stay healthy are going to use his history. The people who project him to stay healthy they're the ones who've seen him put in the work. They've heard about the people around him, how much work he's put in, and they understand the business of sports where people stay healthy when bags are on the line. It happens in every sport, not just football. Take all those things together, I think he's going to stay healthy this year. So, and I think we're only going to reap the benefits of it. Anyways, my whole point is, I get why there's some people out here who do not want to forgive people who have crossed lines or dug in so deep with the Tua hate. I get it. I understand it because honestly, I'm one of those people too. Man, the stuff I've had to deal with for 3 years in my comment section, my live chat on all the different platforms, what I've had to deal with, I'm the first one that'll come out and raise his hand and say, I've had to deal with it. And I don't have any forgiveness for those people when this starts popping off because I've broken down the film for these people. I've broken down every single play Tua Tagovailoa has made at the NFL level has been broken down on this channel. I've showed people the flashes. I've told people what needed to be happen for all those flashes to become consistent and what his ceiling could be as a franchise quarterback if things were done around him. The team did those things. They bettered the personnel from the coaching staff to the players around him. That's what I said needed to happen. They did it. Boom. All of a sudden he explodes. Because you saw the flashes. If you're watching and you know the position, you saw what needed to happen. Now you got people out here who don't know the game of football, let alone the position of quarterback, that try and break down film, and it's the most embarrassing, cringeworthy thing I've ever watched. And they're misinforming y'all, saying, oh, he needs to throw there, he needs to throw this spot, when they don't know anything. They don't know about closing windows. They've never had to deal with closing windows in their whole life. There's people who never played the position but know film so well and know all the positions of football so well that they'd say the same thing. So, amateur hour out here. I got no forgiveness and I got no pity for those people when everything goes right for us this season. None whatsoever. Whatsoever. Go sit in your corner. Let all of us true fans and true believers in this team. See what I said? I didn't say player. Because there are people who will say, I don't believe in Tua, but I want Tua I want us to win, so I want him to do good. I'm talking to those people are blanketed now. Those people who say I don't believe in Tua, I don't think he can stay healthy. I'm including them in that. I'm just not including the Tua haters, the over the top people who have made it personal and cross lines. But the Tua believers, the Tua non-believers, welcome aboard. I hope, because I know those Tua non-believers, at the end of the day, they still want to win. You got people who there are people out here who actively root against players on our team. And deep down they want them to suffer. And if they suffer, our team, our collective suffers. And we're not going to have a good season. So, to me, that's actively rooting for us to lose. What kind of fan does that? Ask yourself that question. So, yeah, I don't forgive those fans. I never will. Anyways, that's enough of that. Let's get into this because we got a timeline to go over here. So let's get into this, okay? All right? We got a lot to go over here. All right? Let's get into Tyreek Hill right now. Okay? Because there is something that scurried under my nose, and I have since found it, and we're going to go over it here. All right. So let's start off with this, though. Pro Football Talk, okay? This is a couple days ago. In the first few days after the latest Tyreek Hill incident, the NFL had no comment. Now, in the wake of a report, the league has commenced an investigation. Pro Football Talk asked the league for confirmation of that fact. We will decline comment, an NFL spokesperson said via email. Okay? Now, if you were to click on this blue part right here that says league commenced an investigation, it would take you to this report from PFT that says which is, like a day prior to that article I just read, and said, last week the league had no comment when asked by PFT. Anyways, Andy Slater of Fox 640 reports the league wants the video and also wants to interview every police officer and detective involved in the Tyreek investigation. Now, what they're talking about is this tweet right here from Andy Slater from June 29th, which says the NFL has asked to interview every police officer and detective involved in the Tyreek Hill investigation, right after requesting the video from the police of the alleged Tyreek incident. Now, why does this all matter? Because they made it seem by declining comment here, they kind of brushed it to the side. And the problem here is, what did Andy Slater do, ladies and gentlemen? After the NFL declined to verify his report with Pro Football Talk, what did he do? This man came out and dropped a receipt. I love it. Check this out. What are you looking at right here? This is the offense incident request report from the NFL. That's what you are looking at right now in front of you. Okay? Now, why does this matter? All right. This was sent from one of the league's security representatives to the police. This proves what Andy Slater said. Let's read it. All right. This is what they've requested. All police reports, incident, arrest, follow-up, and any other PD report relevant to the case. All witness statements, whether contained in witness interview reports or recordings such as interviews and any transcripts that the department has made of such recordings. All related 911 calls and related dispatch records and any transcripts that the department has made of such calls and transmissions. All body and dash cam footage related to the case. All surveillance video footage obtained from the businesses and anywhere else relevant footage was obtained. Photographs and video recordings depicting either the alleged victims or the alleged perpetrator's physical condition. Any medical records, ambulance, hospital, private doctor obtained by the department in connection with the alleged incident. Any other material in the police department's possession relevant to this case. In addition to the above documents and evidence contained in the PD file on this case, the league is also seeking interviews with any and all PD personnel who were involved in handling the matter. Like, anyone who's been doubting Andy Slater's reporting and his incident report lined up exactly with mine, right? Except the only difference is he said something was said that set Tyreek off. I said that I was told something was said with racial undertones, right? That's the only difference. I got more specific as to what I heard was said. But our reports line up exactly of what happened. And now this man, when doubted by Pro Football Talk, when the NFL declines to comment, this man literally comes out here and drops a screenshot of the incident request form. And there is no doubting Andy Slater. Andy Slater is freaking plugged into this right now. And look at the extent the NFL, they want dash cam footage? Holy. Look at, I told y'all, I ain't worried about criminal or civil because money can make that go away. Money don't make Roger Goodell go away. But I will also say this. If something does come down the pipeline, it won't be till 2024. Now, all that said, I have also said this because, you know, he has past incidents. I don't know if they're going to view him as a repeat offender or not because they never nailed him for anything in the NFL. So I wouldn't really label that as a repeat offender, or a repeat offender's got to be found, like, you know, guilty by the NFL. You know, I wouldn't see that as a repeat offender. Now, okay, are they going to call it a repeat red flagger where, you know, they got to, like, look into it in incidents? I don't know. But is repeat offender the proper verbiage to use? I don't think so. And I hear people out here trying to use that. Now, he's been repeatedly accused. All right. Now, you know, or like, was it 2 or 3 times if you go back to, 3 times if you go back to school, I believe. You had the baby mama, the incident with his kid, and now this. So 3 times. But nothing's come out of any of them except the you know, except really this. And the college incident is why, obviously, you know, he had to move colleges and stuff. But shout out to Topher for the donation. I'm trying to explain. I don't know how they're going to handle this. I really don't. Your guess is as good as mine. Shout out to Topher for the $20 super sticker. I appreciate you, my guy, for donating. Goes a long way. You know what else goes a long way, people? I'm going to tell you this right now. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you are new. So listen. So Andy Slater, we continue to, you know, I knew my story lined up with Andy Slater with what I was told and what I relayed to y'all. And now you're seeing Andy Slater pull out incident request forms for receipts when people are doubting him because he's just had enough of people second guessing his reporting on this. I love it. Shout out to Andy Slater. I support Andy Slater on this situation. But, okay, why does this all matter? All right, now let's get into this. Why does all of this matter, okay? Why is the NFL going through all this in lengths? Because I'm telling you, this surveillance footage is not cut and dry. All right? How so? Check this. We haven't shown this on the channel yet. This article from the Miami Herald, you got to be a subscriber. So here it is. Investigators have reviewed a copy of the surveillance video of an altercation involving Miami Dolphins star Tyreek Hill at the North Miami-Dade Marina. But as of Monday, no decision had been reached on whether the receiver will face criminal charges. State investigators got a chance over the weekend to see the surveillance cameras at Hallover Park Marina, captured of a confrontation a week ago between the 29-year-old wideout and a not yet named 57-year-old Marina employee. And this is what slipped under my radar, and this is why I'm bringing this up for you guys. According to a law enforcement source, what they viewed was a copy of the surveillance video taken by police officers' cell phone camera. Check this out. Not only is the video taken from a distance not very clear or helpful, the source said, but the alleged victim hasn't come forward and police still don't know exactly what happened. An earlier Miami-Dade police incident report does not specifically name Hill, said a brief argument between the men ended with him slapping a Marine employee around the neck. A spokesperson for the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office said Monday that Miami-Dade Police has referred some information on the case to prosecutors but would not provide details. All right, so, let's, and they go into here. Reach Monday morning, women, the Kelly, the chartering, they're not talking about it. All right, so, let's, and this is a good question too. It's not clear if he was with Rosenhaus before or after the incident took place, because remember, Rosenhaus posted that video of him, of them out on the boat, right? So anyways, my whole thing is here, all right? Right here, this is big right here, all right? Not only is a video taken from a distance not very clear or helpful, the source said, but the alleged victim still hasn't come forward. They're telling you right now the footage they have of the incident isn't very helpful. And we're seeing the NFL scramble around. They want every single thing right now. And this is going to be a key piece of the whole thing. Remember, this was... A lot of people were trying to sell y'all that this was the smoking gun, and I kept telling everyone, listen, unless audio is attached to it and we get the context of why he smacked him and what went down, that's not even the full story, right? It's still a he said, she said, just now we have visual of some of the stuff that happened. Now, this is huge. I mean, this is basically pretty much, they're telling you the video right now is inconclusive. They are pretty much telling you right now that it's not clear, very clear or helpful. And the police still don't know what happened. So now, albeit this article is, from last week, all right? To be exactly clear with you, to give you an exact date, it is from Monday. It's from Monday, this article, okay? So now we know more info has come out since then, right? And that's just basically the more info that's come out is the NFL's request for everything, right? The only info that's really come since Monday is that, okay, it's in front of the state attorney's office for review, and the NFL is requesting everything. Now, if it's at the state attorney's office, what does that tell you? That tells you, again, we are starting to piece together right now why it's in front of the state attorney. This is we're starting to add more layers to it. We got inconclusive video, and this is why, and right there, the police still don't have a great idea of what happened. This is why they didn't press charges. This is why they didn't show up and put Hill in handcuffs and read him his rights. This is why it's front of they've done their portion of the investigation, and now it's in front of the state attorney's office to decide, is there enough here to charge him? And still, the guy hasn't come forward and pressed charges either with the state, right? We know the police, the Miami-Dade police told the alleged victim, you're going to have to press charges through the state attorney's office too. So, listen, I think civil-wise or whatever, this ain't going to be much. I'm not really worried here. Now, will the NFL do something? If this goes to where the NFL is going to do something, I only see a game or two. And if it does, I think it's going to be in 2024. Look at what's going on with Alvin Kamara. Look at what happened with Devontae Adams. I don't know. They're going to interview Tyreek. They're going to get... Tyreek's going to have to give his side of the story if he hasn't to the PD. I would like to see, what I would be very interested in is Tyreek Hill statement. We basically know what the 57-year-old and employee and the boat captain are claiming. We haven't, mum's been the word from Tyreek Hill's camp, and that's where I'm interested and what I want to see what they're saying. Over 325 of you in the room, please smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. And guys, It Needed to Be Said is back, and they dropped a new episode with Michael Vick. And look at Michael Vick. We got to talk about this for a sec, okay? Did Michael Vick catch himself admitting the truth and then try and walk it back? Let's talk about it.
But you got a good quarterback that y'all working.
You got the most accurate quarterback in the league.
Damn right about that. Like
right
I'm a big
Peyton.
fan. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm a big fan of him too.
That's the second. That Tua is the most accurate quarterback in the league.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, shit, man. I ain't gonna say the most accurate. I'm just saying, his ball. He throw a catchable ball.
Oh yeah,
he threw a real catchable ball.
That's so catchable, boy.
I mean, if you watch him, if you watch what he did in college, go look at his college. Every ball was on the money, soft, right with it, in stride. So I just think he's got to bulk up a little bit, get a little bit bigger, get stronger. You know, as you grow into your man body, that's what needs to happen. Ain't nothing wrong with picking up another 10 pounds, 15 pounds to handle the pounder.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I mean, that's those the things that you got to learn as you go through this process of playing quarterback. It ain't easy.
No.
You're going to get hit.
Yeah, that's the biggest
You're going
thing.
to get knocked around. When you wake up on Sunday mornings, Monday mornings, and Thursday mornings, you know you got to sacrifice for the team. And so once you start getting that in your head, bro, like you become a different animal out there.
I'm gonna answer that for Tua. I'm gonna answer this for Tua. That's easier for you to say because you run a 4.2.
That's easier for you to say because you run a 4.2. But he praised his ability as a passer and his ability to throw like one of the most catchable balls in the NFL. And you heard right away he admitted with Tyreek that he was the most accurate quarterback. And then actually he admitted it a second time, and then the third time is when he said, "Okay, well, I don't know if I'll admit he's the most," but he said let's play the clip. Listen, he says it twice. Watch, says it twice.
But you got a good quarterback that y'all working.
You got the most accurate quarterback in the league.
Damn right about that. Like I'm a big fan. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a big fan of him too.
That's the second. That Tua is the most accurate quarterback in the league.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean,
no
shit,
doubt.
man. I ain't gonna say the most accurate. I'm just saying, his ball. He throw a.
See, he said it twice. Yeah, no doubt, and damn right. I'm just saying. All right. Subconsciously, we heard the truth, Michael. We know what you think. We know you think Tua Tagovailoa. He's the man, bro. We know. They'll come out here. And, don't try and lie to us, bro. Don't try and lie to us. We got you. 4K. Cha-ching. We got you, Mike. We got you. All right? Great article here by David Ferones. What would the Dolphins look like at running back with and without Dalvin Cook? The Miami Dolphins are already in a good place with their running back depth chart without star free agent Dalvin Cook. They brought back their two leading rushers and all four of their active roster tailbacks from last season. They added on to that by drafting Texas A&M speedster Devin Achane, crowding the backfield further. If the Dolphins land the four-time Pro Bowler Cook, it would merely be a luxury signing. Cook, who has taken his time with the process since being released June 9th from Minnesota Vikings, has a ticking clock within a month of training camp opens, has called Miami the perfect fit, not only with joining meaning a homecoming for him, but he also can easily slide right into the outside zone scheme, which he's familiar with. Adding Cook immediately boosts a Dolphins run game that ranked 25th in 2022, but that was due in large part to the fact that Coach Mike McDaniel went to the ground game the second fewest times in the league. Part of the reasoning there, McDaniel has noted in the offseason, was to manage the workload on top of backs Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson Jr. as they nursed minor injuries. With Cook on board, he would emerge as the Dolphins' clear lead back, but he doesn't have to be a workhorse either. He's expected to be fully recovered from surgery on a torn labrum and shoulder troubles that go back 3 seasons, but he can simply lead Miami in touches without being overused. It also limits the workload on Mostert and Wilson rotating in, or Achane in the role McDaniel has planned for the versatile rookie. And that's what I've said too, right? Like, this could help Mostert and Wilson stay healthy into the December and January months. Roster-wise, a Cook acquisition would just about secure which 4 running backs are making the active roster, bumping both Salvon Ahmed and Myles Gaskin off of their 53-man hopes. Without Cook, one of the Washington products that date back to the Brian Flores regime possibly make the team in competition with one another. Working in the Dolphins' favor to land Cook is upward of $13 million the team has in cap space from post-June 1st Byron Jones release. If no one steps up and offers Cook something close to the double-digit million-dollar salary he patiently seeks, Miami can get him at a discount, which is a testament to the present-day running back market. Beyond the eternal benefits of bringing in Cook, the move would also keep him from going to another contender, including 2 division rivals in the mix, the Jets and the Patriots. I don't view the Patriots as a contender, but c'est la vie. But the Dolphins' current running back group, including A-Chain in the first month of team facilities, has worked well together. Overall, very happy with the way they've practiced, very happy with their competitive camaraderie, McDaniel said at the conclusion of minicamp. They're trying to be the best, but they're not going to do it in spite of each other. They recognize that each of them can help each other get better. Dolphins running back coach Eric Studesville backed up the notion. What you see in the running back room is that it's intensely competitive, and these guys want to be good, he said. They're unselfish in how they help each other, so they're all on the same page trying to push this train forward. They're all working as hard as they can, trying to push themselves to be better, trying to learn about the scheme, trying to do whatever they can to help this team. I think that's the biggest attribute of the room. It's a good room to be in. It's a lot of talented players in there. While the Dolphins ranked 25th in offense, they were 19th in yards per carry. Mostert averaged 4.9 yards per carry and Wilson 4.7, with Miami after being acquired in a trade with San Fran. A-Chain's addition brings elite speed as the fastest running back in the past draft, but the Dolphins have all-around plans for him. What we're trying to do is make him a complete back, Studesville said. It's an intentional thing. We want to get him exposed to every part of our offense. He's getting used to the whole offense. That includes pass pro. Studesville liked A-Chain's recognition of assignment in that area through minicamp, though he'll get a better idea of A-Chain and what he brings as a blocker with full pads on in training camp. He's a good football player on tape, Studesville said, and that's enhanced by the fact that he's got the track record and the speed. Get a back that can run. Being around him, the one thing that you really feel is that you feel his size is a little bit more than when you're around him. Dolphins rookie check-in for training camp July 18th, while veterans arrive on July 25th. Now, again, I see the 4.9 and the 4.7 yards per carry. Show me what they did in December and January. It just wasn't good enough. Okay, and another thing that I don't think was mentioned there is Dalvin Cook automatically gives us the best running back room in the AFC, let alone maybe the whole NFL. All right? Dalvin Cook with Mostert in relief. Sorry, Dalvin Cook with Wilson in relief and A-Chain with Mostert in relief by mid-season sounds like a recipe for a 1-2 punch that teams just will not be able to handle. And they keep talking about A-Chain's usage, and we've talked about that. I told y'all, and I will continue to tell y'all, he will establish himself as one of the best pass-catching running backs in the NFL by the end of his rookie season. You watch. He'll be lined up in the slot. He'll be doing a ton of stuff for them. You watch. From the boundary, they'll have him drag across, catch stuff, and go. Get some blockers ahead of him and let him roll. A-Chain's going to have a good season with or without Cook. So I'm not worried about A-Chain, and the impact of Cook, because the plans they have for A-Chain are well beyond Cook and whether you have him or not. They have their own individual plans for their usage of him. Now, interestingly enough, PFF just a couple of days ago, they came out and they ranked the top run games in the NFL. And where did they have us ranked? Just to go off of that last little article we had about the running back room without Dalvin Cook. Well, they ranked us 17th overall. They said the Dolphins' backfield is deep, even if there isn't one player that you would trust to carry the load right now. Raheem Mostert has earned a 77.0 plus PFF rushing games in every season where he's seen at least 100 carries, while Jeff Wilson has never dropped below a 73.5 using the same criteria. Third round Devin A-Chain is a wild card here, coming on to the NFL with a blazing 4.3 4.32 40-yard dash time, and ending his college career with a 215-yard, 16 missed tackle forced on 38 carries performance against LSU. So they got us ranked 17th. They got the Lions ahead of us. They got the Jets ahead of us, okay, with Michael Carter and Israel Anaconda, and you don't know what Breece Hall is going to be when he returns. All right? You know what I'm saying? Like, we jump all these teams if we go out, And we look at, they got Atlanta, Tyler Algier, Bijan Robinson, and Cordell Patterson. They got number 2. And Christian McCaffrey. Look at number 1, San Fran, Christian McCaffrey. And what have I told all of y'all? Well, I've told 2 things. McDaniel's pushing hard for Dalvin Cook, and he believes what Dalvin Cook is to him is what Christian McCaffrey was and is to Mike Shanahan. Okay? McDaniel wants Dalvin Cook, and you see, look at where they are. Number 1 rushing attack, Christian McCaffrey. And we're all the way at 17. All right? Just saying. So, miss me with that 4.9 and 4.7 yards per carry. Talk to me about what they did. You want to only talk about what the quarterback did in December. Talk to me about what they did in December and January. Because last I checked, other than the Bills game in December and them both being decent, Mostert was good against the Bills in December, and they were both decent against the Jets. Where were they? Wilson, 10 carries for 26 yards against the Jets in the playoffs. Mostert can't even suit up. Stop. Okay? Stop trying to sell me this false dream out here that, everything is hunky-dory. All right? Anyways. All right. Continuing on. Shout out to the NFL Network and NFL.com. They came out with the top 10 NFL duos entering the 2023 season. So, last week, they identified the best 2-man duos on each NFL team. Now, they are going to take the best of those and rank them amongst the NFL. So, number 10, Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler. All right. Number 9, TJ Watt and Cameron Hayward. And number 8, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. And what they said is this is the most explosive pair of wideouts in the NFL and possibly the 2 most explosive wideouts, period. Hill and Waddle finished first and tied for 5th. Hill with 45, Waddle with 33. Interceptions of 15-plus yards last season, according to True Media. And first, Waddle at 28.2%. And second, with Hill at 26.5%. In their share of targets that turned into explosive gains. They also checked in first with Hill at 3.21 yards and Waddle at 2.59 in yards per route run. And first with Waddle 0.62 and 14th with Hill at 0.35 expected points added per target, so EPA per target. If you're less into advanced measurements of receiver play, consider that Hill finished the season with 119 receptions for 1,710 yards and 7 touchdowns, while Waddle piled up 75 catches for 1,356 yards and 8 trips to the end zone. No receiver duo in the league can match that production. And guess what? What they failed to mention here is that combined, those are the 3rd most receiving yards by a receiver duo in NFL history, and they got 15 touchdowns combined, 0 touchdowns without Tua. Tua missed 5 games. If Tua didn't miss 5 games, they break that record, and they're probably higher on this list. At 7, they got Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed, who they'll be facing. At 6, they got Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson. At 5, with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. They said they cheated. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase at 4. Kyle Shanahan and I insert Yak Guard at 3. Dan Quinn and Micah Parsons at 2, and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes at 1. Do you agree with that? Let me know. I think they should be higher. That's what they did in year 1. Imagine what they can do in year 2. Like, what are we talking about here? You read out those accolades, you should be projecting a little bit there. That's a better duo than Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase wasn't even relative to fucking Jalen Waddle last year. What are we talking about right now? Okay? And sneaking A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith at 5, please. All right? And Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, give me a break, okay? All right? Come on. Stop. All right? Last year, I'm taking Tyreek and Jalen over those 2. Let me be the first to tell all y'all that. And Ocho Cinco had an interesting post, and this is what he said. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this because this kind of plays into this. T. Higgins is a 1, and the Bengals are one of the few teams with 2 1s on their roster, along with the Eagles and Dolphins. Anybody want to argue with facts? Let's go. I'm effing ready. Do you think there's only 3 teams in the NFL with 2 legitimate number ones. The Dolphins with Waddle and Hill. The Eagles with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. And the Bengals with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. See, what's crazy is I think Waddle's better than all of them. Waddle's better than all of them, not named Tyreek Hill. And Tyreek Hill's better than all of them. I think Devontae Smith is a number one. I would give them that. Is T. Higgins a number one? Does everyone out here view T. Higgins as a legit number one? That is an interesting debate, an interesting question. Because I think Devontae Smith can be a number one. Can T. Higgins be a number one? I'm a little bit more sure of Devontae Smith. I don't know why than I am of T. Higgins. And I respect the hell of T. Higgins. I think he's, I think Waddle's the best number 2 in the NFL. Devontae's the second best number 2, and Higgins is the third best number 2. But, that's a very interesting question. And it's kind of interesting when you think of there's 32 teams and only 3 of them have their top 2 receivers held in that high of regard that they're both viewed as number ones on any other team. That means there's 29 other teams in the NFL that don't have the luxury that those 3 teams have. I hear people crying and moaning about Jalen Waddle, and that right there should tell you, count your blessings. We're lucky to be blessed with what we're blessed with in terms of the plethora of speed and talent and ability. You know what I mean? NFL.com also dropped their top 20, they're all under 25 team. Now, Trevor Lawrence is at QB, Jonathan Taylor running back with Breece Hall, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Waddle gets snubbed by Jamar. CD is the flex. Now, we're not making anyone on the offensive line, but we did have one player. Jalen Phillips was the lone player to make the NFL.com's top under 25 team. They said Phillips might fly under the radar, but those who have had a chance to watch him play will likely agree with his choice. With 15.5 sacks in his first 2 NFL seasons, Phillips is already producing at a level worthy of his draft billing as a first rounder in 2021. I expect to see him on a number of lists identifying breakout candidates entering 2023, and for good reason. I just got to add here, by the way, Nick Bolton, everyone knows I was banging the table for him 2 years ago. And no, Javon Holland did not make it. They put Kyle Hamilton and Hufanga which I think, it should be Hufanga and Javon Holland. I don't think Kyle Hamilton showed after 1 year he's better than Javon Holland in the NFL. So, but anyways, only one Dolphin made that list. And finally, you might be sick of lists, but USA Today, they gave those NFL fan bases a ranking, and they called it a disgrace, and they said, even we admit it. So where did the Dolphins land? In Tier 1 were the Deer Hunted, the Browns, the Steelers, and the Packers. Somehow the Browns made Tier 1. I mean, you figure that out, right? Tier 2 was the Seahawks, the Eagles, the Lions, and the Ravens. Tier 3 were the Saints, Raiders, and 49ers. Tier 4 were the Bills and the Broncos. Tier 5 were the Commanders, the Bengals, and the Rams. Tier 6 were the Buccaneers, the Panthers, and the Colts. Tier 7, that's where the Dolphins land. And he says, one thing I love about this group is how the connection to the undefeated team crosses generation. That team remains so loved. They put us in the 7th tier. Have these people not been on Dolphins Twitter and seen all the wildness and craziness out here? What are they talking about? Tier 7? Give me a break. Way to lowball this fan base because, man, listen, I might not like a lot of people in this fan base on that other side, but, geez Louise. At least the one thing you can say about them is they hate Tua with a passion. There's still that word passion. So, I don't know, but there you go. Dolphin fans get disrespected, put in that bottom tier, even with a slight jab, huh? Even with the, slight jab of we still cling on to the 72 team. Haters. Over 340 of you in the room. Please smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Guys, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate all of you coming through on this Sunday evening. Listen, with Tyreek Hill and everything, again, it looks like we're going to be worried more. It looks like we're going to be worried a little bit more about, Roger Goodell than anything criminal or anything civil. I don't know what to say. That's where it looks like this is all at. You know what I mean? So hit that like button on the way out. Please do me the favor. There's still over 330 of you in the room. Appreciate all y'all for coming through and showing some love. But yeah, I mean, again, Roger Goodell, we'll see where the NFL's investigation goes, where it heads. And hey, until next time, you already know what time it is, baby. You already know what time it has been, and it always will be. If anything breaks, I will be back. But you can expect me on the next one. And again, this week, Finish Line with me, Richmond and Ballgame, as well as Fin Too Deep with myself and Neil Driscoll. So still got a lot of content, even though we're in that lull of the offseason right now. We still got a lot of content coming all y'all way to keep y'all filled up until the Rookies Report on July 18th. So again, until next time, please smash that like button on the way out. I appreciate all y'all coming through, and I will see all y'all in the next one. Until next time, fins up all day, every day, even beyond the grave in which we'll lay. Let's get it, man. We are on the verge of something great this season. I can't wait to share in it with all of y'all. Take it easy, guys.